Right, yeah. Welcome back, y'all. This is another episode of Talk Your Shift. I got my brother Big Lou with me back in the house. Y'all welcome Big Lou, man.
What's going on, people? How we doing? Good to see y'all. Welcome back.
Yes, sir. And those that's new to here, we appreciate y'all stopping by. Appreciate the support and love, and y'all. We hope y'all like it here. You know what I mean? But today we break it down. The NFL Wildcard weekend. Our teams are in that mix, so that's also always an exciting thing. We're not playing each other this time, but we are there, and that's all that matters. You got to get to the show. You know what I mean? So today we're gonna break that down. Starting off with the first game, we're gonna go into what game did we say we was going into? The Texans. What's that? Chargers-Texans game. And I'm gonna start off, Lou. What you think about that, man?
Chargers, Texans. I think that can be a pretty good game. I don't have a horse in this race. Not a Chargers fan, not a Texans fan. I like the Texans uniforms. I mean, their uniforms is nice, but
Right.
I definitely am not a fan. I'm not even really a fan of C.J. Stroud. I like Tank Dell. I know he got hurt towards the end of the season, and they got a lot of weapons. Nico Collins, he's a baller. He's back. But we'll see. Chargers, I can never really figure out the Chargers. You know what I mean? They are one of those teams that are up one week, down the next. And so we'll see what that game, how it pans out. But, I'm not even sure if I even watch that game, but if I can get it in, those games that don't really have more dominant force, those end up being some pretty decent games. So I think it might be a good game. But if I had to pick a winner, I would give the nod to the Chargers because it seems like they're a little bit more healthy at this point. And Justin Herbert, he is putting up some numbers in the air. So I would give it to the Chargers.
Hey, you know what though, Lou? I was thinking about that and I have a similar take in the sense of I don't really care too much for the teams, but I gotta go if I'm going anything, just off my instinct, D'Amico Ryan's defense, man. I just feel like at home, those guys, they be flying. They be playing hard. He got them dudes fired up. You got a young quarterback who's coming back from being in the playoffs. I believe it was in the playoffs last year. And a team that really is surprising to get a home game like this. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. You're right about Justin Herbert. The dude is solid. You can't really, I don't think he has a lot of the weapons that Houston has, that C.J. Stroud has around him in Houston. I do think that they will run the ball better, Houston, and I also think that they have the better skill position players. So you're right. I do think it'll be close, but I do think it'll be because of D'Amico Ryan's defense. It won't be C.J. Stroud. It won't be Nico Collins. I mean, I think they'll do their thing. Don't get me wrong. I think they're gonna definitely have their moments throughout the game, but I think that what's gonna close it for them is the defense is gonna stand tall. They're gonna get the turnovers or something that they need. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a timely turnover, costly turnover for the Chargers, and I think that that'll be the reason why they come out on top. So I like the fact that we're going opposite directions. It's gonna be good to see. You're right about that. I'm not watching that game though. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah, I definitely think D'Amico Ryan should be a factor. He's actually like the most valuable asset on the team, if you ask me. So
I agree.
I can't say most valuable player, but most valuable asset.
Addition. Yeah, like asset addition. I do think that he is he has a strong pulse on what that team needs in certain scenarios throughout the game. Like different types of game situations, that dude just has the right demeanor, man. He has the right attitude, and those things, they look to him, man. And that's just not often in the NFL, bro.
Every game, he has them in every game.
They there.
They fight for him. They fight for that guy.
They do. They run through a wall. Hey, so we're gonna move on to the next game. The next game we got Steelers Ravens. I'm gonna start off with the Steelers Ravens. All right. I'm gonna shock the world. Okay. I'm gonna shock the world because I know that everybody talk about Mike Tomlin and how he don't never get it done in the playoffs. And they got Russ, and he ain't really doing. He did some good things, and then he slowed up a little bit, and they don't really have a lot of guys going on. I think they're gonna do it. I think they're
Oh
gonna do it.
man, really?
I do. I do. I think that the type of games that those two teams play against each other, everything goes out of the window when the Ravens and the Steelers play each other. It's nothing about records, no MVP crap. None of that stuff matters. When those two teams play each other, it's always a knockout drag out. It's always some hitting and thudding going on in that
That is
game. It's
true.
always hard turnovers. If Lamar Jackson turns that ball over, or he is not as consistent passing the ball, he will have a long day. They are going to go hard for Mike, bro. I just feel it. Now I know I'm going to be the eyeball out here, and I'm fine. I'll stand on that hill. But I'm saying I feel something about these divisional games, man, when they in the playoffs and one team is almost way more superior. And sometimes they go into that game just feeling like they don't really see nobody seeing them. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I've been handling this division all season, so I really don't really I'm not coming in this game with 100% of my aggression to say, about taking over this game. Sometimes you feel like you can get it done with 85. And that in the playoffs, that's where it gets tricky. So that's all I'm gonna say, man. I know it ain't no stats involved. This is all heart and emotion. You know what I
I'm
mean?
very
This ain't
shocked.
got nothing to do with nothing.
I'm very shocked at your end result. I do agree with you that those divisional games are tough games. You know what I mean? It don't matter if
Especially in
a
the
team
playoffs,
is
man.
in the playoffs, not in the playoffs. Those spoiler games, when a team is in your division, like all the rules kind of go out the window. But
Right.
I got to give it to the Ravens. I think Lamar and the way he's been playing this year, Derrick Henry, those guys have just been like off the charts, amazing. I think Lamar has a lot more to prove this year in the playoffs. And so, he's had a couple of seasons where he's shown, these flashes of greatness. And then in the playoffs, then the dude just fizzles or something happens or whatever the case may be. So there's an opportunity for him to really solidify himself, and because of this race between him and Josh Allen for the MVP, he can throw,
Yeah, that's a good point.
something out there as a case
Right.
or another notch in his belt to say that he feel like he deserved it, period. You know what I mean?
I
Regardless
get
of
that.
what people thought. So I'm definitely gonna give it to the Ravens. Um, the Steelers, they're a tough team no matter what. They one of those blue collar, you know,
Yeah.
drag out. They remind me of Tampa a little bit. They're like those feisty teams. You know what I mean? It's not really
Mhm.
a whole lot of glitz and glory. You know what I mean? Not a whole lot of shimmering diamonds with those teams, but they just fight.
Right.
So
Yeah, play
I
hard.
don't want to spoil the Tampa thing. We're gonna get to them in a
Right.
few minutes. But yeah, I would definitely give it to the Ravens. But I think the Steelers, because it's a divisional game, I think that they're gonna give up some fight. But I think the Ravens will come out in the end.
And I get that. I mean, obviously you can't really lose with going with the pick that have been a better team all year. It's understandable. And again, recognizing, like you said, them being a part of that division rivalry and them taking it serious on the other end too. Because just because they're the higher seed, don't mean they don't necessarily take division games serious. You know what I mean?
True.
Even though they are better. So I do get that point, man. But yeah, man. So you talked about Josh Allen. That give me a good segue to jump into that Broncos at Buffalo, but the Bills. And I want to get your thoughts on this first, since you talked about that matchup with the MVP situation.
Hey, listen. Don't take my words right now as law or anything like that. But this is the era of Bo Nix right now. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Bo Nix is balling.
oh,
You know what I mean? Do I think they're gonna win? No. You know what I mean? But I just think your boy he's real. He here to stay.
okay.
He's giving a little surge to Courtland Sutton. Um, those guys over there, they trying to make a little name for themselves, as far as like a new rebuilding team or whatever. Troy Franklin is a baller. I don't know if you know about Troy Franklin,
I
the
heard
young
of him.
guy from the speedster from Oregon. But he's an up and coming, I think, 21-year-old. He's a baller, I believe. He's going to be making some noise with Bo Nix with some years to come. But I just think Josh Allen, James Cook, and those guys, Khalil, Shakir, they're a little too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I get you.
they, I believe, I think they're like ninth overall in the league, um, coming out of the regular season or something like that. But
Mhm.
Amari Cooper, man, Amari Cooper, he didn't had a new surge or whatever the case may be, called him the Revenant. You know what I mean? Coming back from the dead. You know, so
Yeah,
I think those
up there
guys
in Cleveland.
are going to be, I reckon, a force to be reckoned with. And even their tight end, Dalton Kincaid, man, he's a good guy and some sure hands as well. I think they're gonna be a little bit too much for the Broncos. That's a game I also probably will not watch, but I do think the Bills will pull that one out. And I think that they kind of Super Bowl bound because they've been knocking on the door. But yeah, that's my take on it.
That's what's up. You know what? Honestly, this is on this last one we gonna agree on this one. It's just very simple for me, and I know that this is nothing to do with raw stats. I agree with everything that you said in regards to them being too much. A part of me also, even though Denver gets cold, it's Buffalo is it's a different beast. It's a different animal up there. You know what I mean with their cold weather. So I just think that in that factor, in addition to Golden Boy Josh, man. It's not happening. It ain't happening. The NFL is not allowing it. You see what I'm saying? It's not
Right.
happening.
Right.
It ain't happening. So I feel like they'll let Lamar slide quicker than they'll let Josh slide. And that's kind of where I went with my pick. So it's like I said, no stats involved. I do feel like Buffalo is just a better team. If we're just talking about eye test, looking at any games highlights, stuff like that, Buffalo's gonna get the nod. Don't get me wrong, Bo Nix surprised the heck out of me. The Broncos, just some of the wins that they got, that blowout of Cleveland. I don't care if they didn't start anybody. You lose by 38, that's a problem. I
Yep.
don't care who you got out there. You see what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? But at the same time, I think you're a year or two too early. And I think that we're talking about the 2026 season, maybe. I can deal with that. I would probably even go against them playing against Josh Allen and pick Bo Nix in a couple years, but not right now. Not with surrounding Josh, not with
No.
everything that's going on, not with getting a home game in Buffalo in January. Nah, that ain't. Hey, Denver, Colorado don't know nothing about that kind of weather, bro. They fans don't know nothing about it. Like Buffalo, they live that, bro. That's they. Hey, look, I don't even want to. I'm gonna be cold watching the game. You see what I'm saying? And I only want to see it because I like watching snow games. You know what I mean? So I don't really mind it, but I kind of know the outcome. I don't. I can turn my back on that one. I just feel like I already know Josh Allen's going to the next round, bro.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Right.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, man. I don't
Yeah.
know. I got to check the weather report, but I think it's colder in Buffalo than it is in Manhattan, Brooklyn, any of those
Hey,
places.
bro,
Like,
it gets
it's the same in New York,
wicked.
but
Yeah.
Buffalo is different.
Buffalo's upstate. It's like Syracuse and all that. It's a
It's
different
different.
level
It's
up
different.
there.
It's
It
different.
don't even make no sense. We talking about negative 13s and 20s and shit. Like,
Right.
nah. Colorado don't know nothing about that.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't know nothing about that. And again, it get cold in Colorado, but they don't know nothing about that.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
So we're gonna shift gears a little bit. We're gonna shift it up and jump over into the NFC. Of course. Let's start with your boys. Green Bay. What are they? I think they're away, right?
We'll wait.
Green Bay are at the Eagles. That's correct. Eagles are high seed, man. I'm
Go
gonna start first because I need you to. I just got a quick point on this. Okay,
ahead.
this is gonna be daunting, fellas. Green Bay has to be on point from snap to the end if they're gonna win this game, but they can do it. They can go up there and do it. But Jordan Love can't be turning the ball over. Y'all got to be able to run the ball effectively. You got to be able to run the football against these dudes. You ain't going to just be able to drop back 57 times. It's not going to work. You're going to need to soften them up. You're going to need play action. But I'm going to tell you this. I hate the Eagles, bro. But I think they're going to take care of business. I can't stand them. But I think they're going to take care of business, man. Your boy Jalen, man, it's just too much over there. It's just too much. Tony, I mean, what's the thing? Is it not Antonio Brown? What's the dude's name?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. AJ Brown. Yeah, AJ Brown. You got. I think Javante is back. I know they got Saquon. You're not talking about Jalen Hurts. I mean, they got tight ends. They got a defense that plays, and when they come out to play, it's tough. But I gotta give you this. I don't feel like they had the same aura around them that they've had in previous years with the Jalen Hurts teams and everything. So they're definitely beatable, which is why my point leading up to it initially was Green Bay, if they're perfect, they can do it. And I would be shocked. I would just be like, hey, they played the game that they needed to play to do it. I just don't think they're gonna do it.
Well, of course, it would sound like I'm being biased when I say
No, man.
I
You gotta
know
do it.
I know Green Bay can beat them. But again, you're right with the turnovers. We cannot be turning the ball over. We got to put our big boy pants on and really go mano a mano with these guys or whatever. Running the ball is going to be crucial. You're absolutely right. They're the number one defense in the league from what I know. And so definitely offensive line is going to have their hands full or whatever. Josh Jacobs. Hopefully we have a heavy dose of Josh Jacobs, and that our receivers are catching the ball. You know what I mean? Christian Watson, he's been disappointing me for the last, couple of games or whatever. Actually, this season, dropping a lot of passes. He's been injured quite a bit, very injury prone, but I'm excited to see what our defense is going to do. We are a young, new, fiery defense, led by Rashawn Gary and company, Quay Walker. So I think Jeff Hafley, which is our defensive coordinator, will have those boys ready. He definitely turned the team around on the defensive end. We do need to stop giving up so many rushing yards. And we got the number one rusher in the league with 2,000, as you know. We don't want it to be 2,000 and 200. You know what I mean?
He can do it in a minute.
And it can easily be that. You know what I mean?
250 on you all purpose. All purpose. He gonna catch the rock out of the backfield too. You see what I'm saying?
So again, Saquon, they got another guy, up and coming guy named Johan Dotson or whatever. That dude has been balling. Okay. Smith is better. Their offense, I think we can stop their offense. You know what I mean? They're not really all of that. But the problem is Jalen Hurts. You know what I mean? You got to account for their quarterback, and he can hurt you with his legs when he's not throwing so well. Just not letting these dudes, in third, in certain situations or whatever, get so many first downs. But I do think Green Bay can do it. But again, they got to clean up the mistakes, and they got to play with these dudes for 4 quarters, for sure. They got to play all 4 quarters, man. Definitely.
I started there.
And
man.
I know you can't hear me now, and it may be too late. You know what I mean? Maybe not. Maybe if he goes on, and LaFleur is putting it out there, you need to start listening to Talk Your Ship. You know what I mean? Because I'll be giving some good takes, man, and I think you should start listening to me, man. I'm serious. I'm one of the biggest Green Bay fans out there, LaFleur. So please stop taking the ball in the first half when y'all win the toss. Okay? Please. Okay, it doesn't always work for y'all. Okay, actually been losing, man. Can we hold the ball from the second half, especially in this game, because we're going to need that ball in the second half. Please. Listen to me, sir.
I hear you. You know what? And hopefully he is walking Talk Your Ship because we're gonna drop this before the game. So when they doing their pregame meetings and they doing their pregame messages and all that, getting all their last minute stuff out, maybe talk your shit would be one of the things that they can look at to help them understand what they need to do. You know what I mean?
Need that,
But
LaFleur. I
yeah,
need you to listen, brother. But I'm
that's what's
proud of
up.
you so far. I don't want to be too hard on you. You've been a good
Right.
coach for us. So
Word up. All right, we're going to just shift gears again, jump into the next wild card game, which is my Buccaneers, baby. We are at home against the Washington Commanders. And I'm going to go ahead and start this one. And I know you got a short point you want to make too, but just jumping out the gate, we're better than these guys. They have Jalen Daniels, and we have to stop running quarterbacks. As an overall team, we proved it in week 1. We're better. And I know they got better, but so did we. So did we. If Baker plays like Baker has been playing, 70% completion percentage, 4,000 plus yards, over, I think, 29 touchdowns or something like that. Playing like a top 5 quarterback. Not turning the ball over. You know, using his legs when he need to use his legs. Being able to extend plays. And don't get me wrong, Jalen Daniels is going to be a handful. It's going to be a handful. And we're going to have some struggles. It ain't going to be our defense that do it. We're going to have to score points. You know what I mean? And which we can do. We put up 31 on them in the first time we played them this year. I think we can put up more than that. I think we left some points out there on the table. You know, again, I'm not just poo-pooing Washington. They are a good team. They are a good defense. They play hard. But I do feel like I don't feel like they're at the stage yet where we have with the guys that we have, with the veteran guys that we have, the playoff experience guys that we have. You know, with Mike Evans, with Vita Vey. You know, we haven't got Chris Godwin. You know, I feel like we're going to be able to run the football. We have a slew of running backs. You know, with Bucky Irvin, and you still got Rashad White back there. You know what I mean? So I feel like we're going to be able to run the ball. We're going to be able to throw screens. You know, I feel like we can hit our tight ends, and Baker's accurate. If Baker don't revert to Cleveland, Baker, if he do what he's been doing this entire time with the Buccaneers, I feel like we wash him. And I don't even think not like saying we just blow him out by 40, but I do feel like it'll be pretty handily. I think it'll be like 16, 18, something like that. And I mean, like I said, I know it's easily biased. Everybody see, you know, in all my videos, the Bucks is always going to be there. And I will be the first to admit, when my teams are trash, they trash. I've been with them since '99 or something, so I don't have no problem riding with the 3-win, 4-win teams. I done been there, so you know what I mean. Like so, it's not a thing of being overconfident, but I'm looking at the body of work for both teams, and I feel like a lot of the games that the Washington Commanders won, they kind of had to save themselves and win, come back and win, come back and win. And I feel like if we are on point with what we've done, they won't be able to match the points with us. Now, I don't think we're gonna stop them all that much. I think it's gonna look real shaky for a minute because that's how our secondary, the Bucs secondary, is wild like that sometimes. You know what I mean? They just be looking like they just never played before for certain weeks, and then all of a sudden we hold somebody to like 16, 17 points. You know what I mean? But I do feel like overall, offensively, we'll put up the points necessary to stay on top.
you know, this is probably the most, or I would say, the game that I'm most excited about seeing because it
Mm-hmm.
seems like the one that's most evenly matched. Like we
Get
really,
that?
really don't know who's going to come out in the end. You know, both teams have a little fight in them. Of course, you know, the young man or whatever. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, rookie of the year. You
Oh
know,
yeah, he balled.
uh,
He balled.
definitely. I didn't know much about Brian Robertson Jr. before, you know, this
Mm-hmm.
season began, you know, whatever, but that dude is a beast or whatever. Terry McLaurin is just turned into, you know, I mean, almost a top 5 receiver in the league or whatever the case may be. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know about that high, but I mean, he really has been a baller. You know what I
Yeah, he's
mean?
exceptional, man.
And
He is.
so I really can't say If I just had to pick somebody or whatever, my recency bias would have me leaning towards Tampa, um, because Tampa just knows how to put up points. And when they get confident and when they start rolling over you, they keep rolling. You know what I mean? And so I've seen these flashes from Washington, but I feel like I need to see more. And against a team like Tampa, it's just going to be a fight. So
Right.
they're
I
definitely
can see that.
they're definitely capable. You know what I
They
mean?
are.
And again, and what I mean by that is they also could blow Tampa out.
They
Like they
could.
could come out the gate and really do some damage. Like,
Which is the reason why I said the points. It's a
yeah,
points thing. This
you
is going to
know,
be points.
they are
Yeah.
one of those teams that have the ability to do that to you. And so
Mm-hmm.
Tampa is going to have to, you know, dot all their I's and cross all their T's as well. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not going to be a cakewalk for them, either. So it's like I said, very evenly matched. I think Tampa's defense finished, I think, 16th. Washington is like 13th. So they're going to be able to put some points up on one another. But
Right.
I'm excited to see that game. I think it's going
Man,
to be
me and you
fun.
both.
And yeah, but again, if I had right now, just because of what I've seen, from them from the last few games in the season or whatever, I would slightly give it to Tampa. But then again, that could also be a mistake.
Yeah, and I get that. I don't feel no kind of way because I totally understand it, especially when in regards to my team. It's been a lot of up and down. With both of those teams, like you're right, they're very similar in that right. When they're rolling, they're rolling. I'm talking about both teams. When they're not, they're not. You know what I mean? It's kind of that situation. They kind of also play to the talent that they're playing against. Both teams do the same thing. It seems like. They're playing against somebody good. It seems like that Washington just comes out of the blue and just start playing like crazy, and then they'll go around and lose to like Carolina or something. You know what I mean? Or something like that. So, and the same thing with the Bucks. It's like we lost some close games. We got blew out a couple times. You know what I mean? So it's just that situation. But I do feel like I said, overall, the points you mentioned about the defenses, they're both vulnerable. They're both going to get scored on. It's just who's going to score more. And I think that I think that the Bucks, if they're well oiled, if both teams are well oiled, it'll be a high scoring game. But I think they can score more than the Commanders. And that's just my honest opinion. And like I said, of course, it's gonna sound biased, but I don't really give a fuck. But you know what I mean. But I get it. I get it. People can come at me in the comments if you want. I welcome it. But then that'll transition us to the last wild card game of the weekend. The LA Rams against the Vikings. And of course, now that we know that LA is having all of the fires and everything going on, everybody know my brother Big Lou is in LA. I'm from LA. Everybody is impacted in different ways in regards to the fires and what's going on. A lot of players are impacted. A lot of people, families, are impacted. People having to evacuate. People losing homes and stuff like that, which caused the game to be relocated to where I live in Arizona, of all places. So they're going to play their Rams are going to play their home playoff game in the stadium in Arizona in Glendale, which to me brings me to my point that they're not going to be winning this game. It's not gonna. It's just too much. It's too much heaviness. Too many people impacted. You know what I mean? Everything will be thrown off base. And if they win this game, I'll be truly surprised. I have no confidence in them winning this game against the Vikings. None. And honestly, in LA, I would have gave them a little bit of an edge to win, but I still would have picked Minnesota. I think they're a better team. I think they're overall a better team. I think if Sam Darnold is playing like whoever this Sam Darnold is in that defense, sorry, it ain't happening. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not a Rams fan, even being from LA. I do wish them well, unless they playing the Bucks. You know what I mean? And I want the best for them. But it ain't happening this weekend. And I think that it's just like almost with heavy hearts, they probably want to go home. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Who could blame them? I mean, they got a lot of people are dealing with a lot of stuff. But a lot of people, the areas that were affected by the fire were a lot of, areas where a lot of millionaire houses were. You know what I mean? And um, it's just the fact that those players are probably are impacted. Maybe they have rental properties there. Maybe they have their actual main home there. You know what I mean? PCH and all the other areas are impacted. So That's just my final take on that. Again, before I get pass it over to Lou for your last points, you know, just giving my best to those dudes and everybody that's impacted, with the Rams and the Lakers games that are being moved, side note, and all that stuff. So I just know that I've got a couple of videos on that. Y'all can go check it on the page, but it's never easy to deal with that. But Lou, what you feeling about that last wild card game?
Yeah, again, before I start, I would say uh, my heart goes out to all of those who were impacted with the fires in LA. I'm here in LA. It was really, really a tough situation to deal with. A lot of schools evacuated, homes evacuated, neighborhoods and communities, you know, which reached all the way into, really the LA area. You know what I mean? USD schools were canceled and things like that because,
Right.
the air quality and things like that. I mean, if you look up in the sky, I mean, it was just like a gray sky as far as you could see, because
Mm-hmm.
of those fires. And so, again, quite a few people lost their homes and businesses, and we just send uh, our heartfelt, you know, um, and sincere, love to all of those people, and we hope they get, what they need and stuff like that. And yeah, so I'll go on with my take. And yeah, this is gonna be a tough game, man. I think it's a little messed up, if I'm honest, for the Rams, who really earned a home playoff spot, regardless of how well, they were matched up to other teams. I mean, they did what they needed to do in their division
Good.
to earn that. And you know what I mean? And unfortunately, you can't change what happens in the area of, non-football situations, but this was a tough one, man, to be able to swallow because, you did everything right. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, because it's something that you couldn't control, you end up being a visiting team anyway, you know? And so nothing really changes for Minnesota except for they got to travel 45 minutes less. You know what I mean? And so,
Right.
they were already
Yeah,
prepared to jump on a plane and come across the country and
that's
everything
true.
like that. And so already, um, you know, ready to do the same thing for the most part, and also really probably salivating off of the situation, knowing that the Rams don't have a home game. So really, this just puts this everybody in a neutral ground, so they know they can really just kind of come in and dominate that game if they really put their minds to it. Because, like you said, and I agree, they are the better team. If I'm just honest, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think the defense is better. I think their offense is better. I think that they have better position, players. Puka Nakua is a baller. Don't get me wrong, but if I had to pick up between him and Justin Jefferson, there's no. I'm not. There's
Yeah,
no.
what are
There's
we
no
talking
game.
about? Yeah,
What are we talking about? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And so, um, so with that being said, I just think that that's unfortunate. Do I think the Rams have a chance? I mean, yeah, they have a slight chance because, again, they did do what they needed to do to make it to this point. And so, and they're professionals just like the next man. So you got to play the game. But
Right.
I do think, based on Sam Darnold and company, that they might be just a little bit too much. And I see them going a little further. I see that this is where the strain stops for the Rams. And again, you brought some wonderful, wonderful points as far as like how they've been impacted themselves and their family members, as far as location, where their homes were, their family members, the suburbs and areas where, I mean, like you say, most rich people, are people that have money or come from money where they live. And so the Rams probably were, deeply affected by that. If not
Yeah,
themselves, somebody close, I'm sure we're in those areas. And will they even be thinking about what's going on in the game, this weekend? You know what I mean? With everything that's going on. So I do
absolutely.
think things are working against them. But again, it'll be a game that I'll maybe click to once in a while just to see where it's going. But am I interested in seeing this game? Really, really not that much.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, lastly, just to add on to that point, not only like you talked about the great point of just the Vikings, nothing changing for them. Like literally nothing changes for them. They were going into a visiting locker room anyway, so it didn't even matter. But even more so than that, I forgot to add that Vikings fans, they travel. There'll probably be just as many Vikings fans, if not more, in Arizona than LA fans, because honestly, LA has a lot to deal with right now. And I mean, I'm not saying that people won't come out from LA, because people are going to want to get their minds off of things and go do something fun, to just not think about all the tragedy for a second. But let's just be real. Got a lot more things, bigger things on our plate. You know what I mean? So a lot of, like you said, a lot of those guys may be trying to get back home and figure out, well, I didn't even want to leave my situation. I leaving my family in a situation where they're in, at family's house or at hotels or whatever. You know what I mean? I got to go play a game. I'm not even really here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's the last game of the wild card weekend. Not to end on a somber note, but we're looking forward to all the games. You know what I mean? Like I said, some of them we probably will watch, some of them we probably won't watch. You know what I mean? Like you said, a couple of them we might click in and out just to see what's cracking. But it probably won't be a lot of mainstay, but we're gonna circle back again after this wild card weekend, Lou. Maybe on Monday or Tuesday we can circle back with y'all, see what we were right, see who's wrong. I mean, I want to see in the comments if y'all actually right or wrong. If y'all agree with us, you agree with Lou, you agree with me. His last final thoughts, and we gonna get out of here, y'all.
Man, just exciting, and happy to have football, this weekend, both days. I think it's just going to be a
Right.
great
3 days.
weekend. Oh, yeah, well,
3
exactly.
days.
3 days. I mean, I'm not used to the Saturday, you know what I mean, playoff games and stuff like that, but it's going to be, some great games. I'm excited to see, but it might be some spoilers out there too. Nobody, some games that nobody thought were going to happen that way, so I'm excited. Let's go, Pack, go. All right. We need that. Let's move on.
Just for of course, for this particular one, we always got the battle of the Bay, but this weekend we want the Bays to prosper. So good fortunes and goodwill to the Bay, to the Green Bay fellas. I'm sure you have the same feelings for the Bucks. You did, slightly pick them, and you know what I mean. But you did, and the best of luck for you and your guys, and hopefully they go out to Philly. I hope so, to God, that they do. They go out there and take care of business to shut those guys up.
I'm going to say one more thing. Really, to tell you the truth, Green Bay is still one of the youngest teams in the league, which means, they got a young team that really may not know any better, but just go out there and just go play. And I'm hoping that they don't get too big because they have no reason to or whatever, and just go out and show what they can do. And some of these guys just playing for contracts and stuff like that. So maybe they just will do what they need to do because they want to have a job next year. So
that may be it.
Yeah,
whatever it takes.
Whatever motivation you need.
Yeah, whatever it takes, y'all. Hey, we appreciate y'all. This is another episode of Talk Your Shit, brought to you by RggiTV. We love y'all. We appreciate support, your comments, the love, all that good stuff. Until the next episode, we out.
Yeah.